Here's a simple example of a commission problem. And even though it's simple, it may be representative of what you'll see on the exam. I will say on this one, it's probably just a little bit too simplistic because they like multi-step problems. And this one is really just a simple solution here. So read the problem. A property sells for $180,000. The listing firm charges 6% for the listing fee. What would be the gross commission on this transaction if the buyer has a loan amount of $140,000? When we go back and look at the problem, we notice that what we're looking for here is the gross commission on the sale. And then we also see some added information there about the loan amount for $140,000. Now, that's not going to matter in this particular case. The loan has nothing to do with the commission. Now, if you like to use the T-bar in this particular case, it's simply going to be sales price time the commission rate, okay, would tell you the total commission. And so in this particular case, you can see the sale price was obviously $180,000. The rate was 6%. And of course, in the T-bar, if you have one number below the T-bar and one above, and if you have the two numbers below the T-bar, you simply multiply them together and they will give you the number above the T-bar. So you can see in this particular case, it's going to be just $10,800. And you're actually finished with this particular problem. Like I say, that is a simplistic version of what a commission problem would look like. Commission problem number 2. We're going to wrap it up just a little bit here. I told you they like multi-step problems. So notice what's going on here. A selling agent earns 40% of the listing agent's 6% commission on a recent $500,000 sale. How much did the selling firm collect at closing? We're also testing you on something else in this particular problem. The other thing that we're testing you on is to make sure that you're comfortable with the vocabulary of what a selling agent is. Now, the selling agent is the person who has the buyer in the car. Now, why do they call it a selling agent? The reason it's called a selling agent is because it could be a buyer agent, a seller sub-agent, or a dual agent. We don't know. But this is the buyer. This is the person that had the buyer in the car, was showing the buyer the property. So now let's break it down and let's go back over our tools again that we use. In this case, I'm just going to go ahead and create the T-bar and remind you that it's sell price times rate equals commission, what I described as total commission in the previous problem. Okay, well, let's look at what we have. We have the sale price of $500,000. We have the rate, in this case, was 6%. Simple math function here, 500,000 times 6% is going to be $30,000. Now I want you to notice, look at the answers over there. And notice that they give us 30,000 as one of the potential answers. So if you were working too quickly, you might say, well, okay, I got one of the answers, let's stop. But notice what it says here. How much did the selling firm collect at closing? Well, the selling firm only receives 40% of this. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to go one more function and show that the total commission of 30,000 times the new rate of 40%, 30,000 times 40% is going to be 12,000. You can check that in your calculator. And then what you see is the answer is actually going to be B instead of D in this particular case. Why? Because the listing firm brought in $12,000. Now, we don't know how that's going to be split with the actual agent, between the agent and the firm, but we do know that this answers the question, how much did the selling firm collect at closing?